up, guys? Welcome back to another video of this series. Today we're gonna really talk about answering on this question of, can you get shredded as gaining muscle mass? So can you get big and stay shredded at the same time? Now, there's many answers for that, and it's also, you have to be careful how you ask that question, because you can get different answers depending on how you ask that question. Because I just told you the question two different ways, but we'll go over that later on. So really, I made some steps so that we can go pretty quick on it, because normally it would take a long time to explain to you guys. So I'm going to try to make this as fast as I can and try to speak really fast so you guys can kind of keep track of it. So you can pause the video if you want. So first is, you have to see what body type you are. So this normally, you don't pick it. It's genetics from your parents and, everything. So you can't really pick it, but you can change it. You can change the body type, and you can an endomorph could become an ectomorph could become an endomorph depending on how hard you work for it, or. So generally, an ectomorph is the skinny frame type of person. This is me. That's what I was. Well, I'm still am that, an ectomorph. And then there's a mesomorph, which is more of a bulkier person, broad shoulders, really athletic looking, wide back type of thing. It's kind of the ideal one. They burn fat pretty easily if they're on a good diet. And then there's endomorph. They have a hard time burning fat. They look a lot more rounder, and that type of characteristics, which is you can't really pick that, but you can really change it based on your diet. So I'm gonna go with ectomorph, because that's what I am, and I'm gonna use that as an example. If you have any other questions, you can really ask me in the comments. I'll feel free to tell you what the other ones are, but this is the one I know the most. So here we have, on the second step, this is what I should be eating as an ectomorph in percentages. 30 to 60% should be carbs, at least 25% should be protein, and the rest is fat. The reason there's no number, it depends on how many carbs you're eating, and then you just do the math. So we're going to leave that aside for now. That's just numbers for you guys to see and remember. We're going to see of what role plays each of them as carbs, protein, and fat through that your body uses them for. So in fat, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, 1 gram of carbs, 4 calories, and 1 gram protein is 4 calories. So what your body's going to tend to do is going to want to pick the one with the highest calories and, get rid of that one first, because it wants to use what can give the most energy to your body. So it's going to pick the fat first, and that's what is burned first. Then it's probably going to go into your carbs. I say probably because depending on how you do your diet, if you're eating too low carbs, they might start losing some muscle, and that's because it's eating some protein. And normally it would go on carbs, and carbs is energy. If you didn't know that, fats are also energy because they're the first ones that are burned. But, since they're the first one that are burned, you don't really count them in energy because the carbs are still there when the fats are being burnt. Protein varies on nutrition, as I said. So really, when we go to the conclusion right here, we see that to get shredded, you have to eat less carbs and not less fat, since carbs, what happens most of the time is that if you're eating too much carbs, some of that carb your body doesn't get to, and it just your body stores it, and then what happens when it stores it is it just increases your body fat percentage. So you don't want to eat too much carbs, but you also don't want to eat too little, because that's bad. You're not going to feel good, and you're going to start losing muscle. So you really want to eat a decent amount of carbs, and you really want to know how to control it for your body. So that's why eat less carbs, but not less fat in my case. So it would be around 35% to lose weight in my category, 35% of carbs. Now, to get big, you need to eat more carbs. The question that is asked is, how can I do both? Because one's telling me to eat less carbs and the other one's telling me to eat more carbs. Now, how do I combine both? Well, you can't really combine both, but you can kind of play around with them and try as much as you can to combine them both. So in this case, I picked the percentages for me if I was just shredding, which would be 35% carbs, 35% protein, and 30% fat. right? I picked the grams of, of what I'm supposed to eat, the same number as the percentage, so it's really quick and really easy to catch it. So 35 grams of carbs, 35 grams of protein, and 30 of fat. And if I eat like that, I am supposed to shred down. Of course, you gotta work out for it, but you would lose some fat and get leaner. Now the bulk, most people what they would do is increase the carb intake, and increase the carb intake, increase the calories, and play based on that, right? But the way I do it though is the way that's right underneath, which I'm gonna say like a lean bulk. Why is it a lean bulk? Because I'm keeping the same percentages, but increasing the number of grams that I'm taking. So instead of 35 grams, I'm taking 40. Instead of 35 here, 40. Instead of 30, 35. So I am eating on a surplus, but I'm keeping the same percentages of my foods. So what happens is that the trick with this is that once you get to this plateau, once you gain all that weight that you wanted to weigh and you plateaued, but you keep eating like this, it helped you maintain your body fat percentage low, which means that if I want to lose a little bit more once I get here, I just got to lower that 35% probably to a 32, 30, and that's going to help me get really a lower body fat percentage easier than if someone would regularly, like normally bulk and increase the carbs to 60% of the carbs, and then having to lower it to 35. It's a dramatic change to your body. So I rather just play along and increase it like that and keep the same percentages. So that really, guys, is the trick I use to gain muscle mass and at the same time get lean. It's what I've been applying to these past weeks. It has worked well. You can follow me on Instagram. The results are really working pretty well, but it's a lot of hard work, and I like to challenge myself. What I would recommend is to gain really a lot of weight and then just cut down. But if you like to challenge yourself, you guys can try this out. If you have questions, just on the comments. I mean, I was sorry at 144 and now 151, but it looks like I'm getting leaner. But the reason why is because one day I'm eating really high. I'm eating really high. My calories percentage are always the same, but I'm eating really high calories. And the second day, just a little bit lower than that high. Not too low, but just a little bit, and it just helps me to kind of get my body more into shape, and then get a little bit more into shape. It takes longer, way longer, but it's worth it if you really want to be lean and get big at the same time. So there's really not an answer to this, depending of how you ask that question. If the question is, can you get big and shredded at the same time every day? No. But if you play around the days, yes, you might be able to achieve it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you subscribe, like. If you want to hear me talk about something else, make sure to comment below or comment wherever you're seeing this video from. And I hope it's not that long. So thank you, guys.